Good morning. Welcome to your early morning intuitive guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, America's kick-ass coach and psychologist, and my flip screen is not working today, so you get the other view. All it means is words are going to be backwards, but whatever. It's a different perspective, right? We'll turn it into something useful. Good morning, Joe. Glad you are here. As I was saying, my flip screen is not operational today, so everything's going to be backwards, which is okay. We'll kind of view this as video retrograde. So, card is from the Pilgrim Cards deck by Austin Repath, our neighbor to the north. I think he's somewhere near Toronto. And this card, when I first set my eyes on this deck and got the affirmation that yes, this is the deck for today, I thought, ooh, some of his cards are kind of dark, but this one actually, it starts that way, but it holds an important message, I think, for all of us, given the status of life as we're living it right now. So, Pilgrim Card deck, Austin Repath, a couple of nice deep breaths. Just coming here, right now, present, ready to receive whatever part of this message is for you today. My dog's wandering around behind me. I can hear his tags. Just settling in. This one's called The Only Imperative. The Only Imperative. Sometimes you slow to a crawl, then stop, unable to go a step further. You stand swaying back and forth, unsure whether you will sink to your knees or find the strength to go on. You long for a quiet glade, some refreshment, a restorative sleep under a sheltering branch of a tree. You close your eyes, hoping to see an administering angel. Instead, only the blackness peers back at you. The paralyzing fatigue of your spirit is the only reality. I think there's a whole lot of people who are feeling that right now. Then comes the realization that to remain here is to collapse and sicken. Gradually, you begin to accept that there is really only one imperative. What lies ahead is beyond your knowing. You trust there will be food and shelter for a weary traveler. Not much to go on, but for now it will have to do. You pick up your staff and push on. So, a whole lot of things in here I'd like to comment on. So if this is our life's journey, that's what we're talking about. Good morning, Mara. I'm going to read the card again because it's really powerful. This is our life's journey. Sometimes we do slow to a crawl and then stop and stand there swaying like, okay, now what? His point is that when you have hope, so in this case the hope and the trust is that there will be food and shelter ahead somewhere. What lies ahead is beyond your knowing at that particular point in time. It's hope and faith and trust that get you to pick up your staff and take your next step. And this isn't about cracking the whip on yourself. That's not what this is about at all. It's about taking those pauses where you are just kind of like, oh my, now what? Giving your body a minute to recalibrate. You taking in some air. If you don't have water, you don't have anything else, you take in some air because you can breathe, and then you set out again. To take that next step after the pause, that's hope. That's hope. And in doing so, opens the floodgates for the universe to respond. Okay, this one, she's willing to press on. She's willing to keep going. Let's send her some good juju, whatever it's going to be. It might be the stranger who's coming past the other way who gives you a drink. It might be finally getting to an oasis. It might be something that comes out of nowhere. And lately that's what it's been for me. The somethings that come out of nowhere that help me decide what I'm going to do. So I'll give you one that is on my computer screen just beside me right now. There was a program that I wanted to take. It was a 2-year training program to become a facilitator for intentional communities. And I feel like retooling is sort of a theme right now for me. And for whatever reason, the universe did not align things so that I signed up. Should this turn out to be the proper path for me, then it must be a timing thing, and it must be I'm not meant to do it for another 2 years. 2 years! I mean, in Earth time, that seems like a hell of a long time. In universal time, it's nothing. But nonetheless, be that as it may, I'm like, okay, so now what? What am I supposed to be doing? And I get this conference thing. It's a national, 2022 National Co-Housing Conference in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm in Wisconsin. I think I'm meant to go to this thing. It's like a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and part of Sunday. And actually the guy who was doing the training for the 2-year program is going to be speaking there. So I actually can meet him if I choose to go. And there's a whole lot of classes about aging in community, etc., which is kind of the gist I want to step into. So one door closed, another door opened. And rather than standing here staring at the closed door, making the assumption that that wasn't the door I meant to open right now, and this door is now opening and presenting itself. Feels like this one maybe fits better for my life right here, right now. The other one's very intensive for 2 years, and I have a whole lot on my plate right now with my dad and my sisters. So I think this door may be opening instead. So the only imperative, let me read it again and just soak up the message, okay? Soak up the message and soak up the energy of the vibe, because I think if you're like me, when we're in, good morning, Judy, glad you're here. It looks like someone else snuck in. Oh, Beth is here. Hi, Beth. If you're like me, when you're in the muck and mire, you're so busy dealing that you're not really aware of how mucky and miry it is. And then somewhere after the fact, you look back and you go, how the hell did I get through that? But it is what it is at the time, right? So, as I read this card, I think it's an opportunity for you, for all of us, all 5 of us, to connect with what does this feel like? And where else in my life am I feeling this? Because then we can put some healing energy toward that, all right? So I'm going to read it again, and then we're going to do a little healing energy, okay? The only imperative. Sometimes you slow to a crawl, then stop, unable to go a step further. You stand swaying back and forth, unsure whether you will sink to your knees or find the strength to go on. You long for a quiet glade, some refreshment, a restorative sleep under the sheltering branches of a tree. You close your eyes, hoping to see an administering angel. Instead, only the blackness peers back at you. The paralyzing fatigue of your spirit is the only reality. Then comes the realization that to remain here is to collapse and sicken. I think that's speaking volumes about our nation right now. To remain where we are is to collapse and sicken. Gradually, you accept that there really only is one imperative. What lies ahead is beyond your knowing. You trust there will be food and shelter for a weary traveler. Not much to go on, and sometimes right now what's happening in our country feels like not much to go on, but for now it will have to do. It's what we have. You pick up your staff and push on. So, here's what I'd like us to do. Let's do a little energy stuff. I want you to rub your hands together until they're warm. Then I want you to just hold them out. And I want you to imagine the crown chakra spinning open, top of your head spinning open, and receiving energy from Source. That divine flow, that endless flow. There is no limit on that flow. So soak up whatever amount you need. Take on a whole lot. Take on extra beyond what you need right now. And then send it out through your hands to our world. You may send it to specific places. You may send it to specific people. You may send it to specific situations. Boy, my hands are buzzing. I don't know about yours. Send it to specific situations. If those places, people, and situations are not accepting of your energy, it is not a waste. It will move on to wherever it is accepted and useful. Because energy is neither created nor destroyed, right? It simply moves into, through, and out of form. So we send this energy, it's coming through our form, out to someone else's form or something else's form, whatever, used there or moved on, always of use, always of use. I like doing that when I'm in the car. I'll just hold a hand by the window. I'm driving along, people are flying by me the other direction on the highway, and I'm just giving them a little bolus of energy. You never know who needs it. So just sending that energy out. This is a simple, simple, simple one we can do anytime. If you're in a meeting at work that's contentious, just lay your hands in your lap, beaming that energy to all at the table. In particular, the ones who are creating the most difficulties. They need a ton of blessings. Either because they're wayward and derailing things a bit, or they are spot on and visionary and the rest of us haven't caught up with them yet. They need energy. Send them the energy. You go, you go. Let's see what comes out of this conflict. Because sometimes conflict can be incredibly productive and useful, as long as we keep a respectful stance, as best we can, as best we can. Sometimes things do get heated, but we can remain respectful. So, the other piece that I wanted to pick up there was the closing your eyes, hoping to see an administering angel. Instead, only the blackness peers back at you. That blackness is so important. That darkness is pregnant with possibilities. It is the portal to the field of infinite possibilities. Embrace that darkness. Be with it. Hello, darkness, my old friend, right? There's much to be learned from the darkness. And as I said the other day, out of the darkness comes all new life. Whether it's from the womb, whether it's from in the ground, Mother Earth's womb, all of that comes from the darkness into the light. We need both. So when you're in the darkness, embrace it. Don't fight it. Breathe into it. Receive its messages. Plant those seeds. Tend them carefully, and see what comes up. See what buds and blossoms and blooms heavily. All right. So what I'd like you to think about today is past times when you were in this place, where you were in the place of, I'm standing here, I'm wobbly, I don't know if I can keep going, and acknowledge that you did take a step forward, because you're here now. You didn't die in that spot. You're here now. So somewhere in there, you found the strength to take one more step, and then another, and somewhere along the path, there was sustenance and support and, how did he put it in here? Food and shelter for a weary traveler, right? And that food and shelter can be spiritual food and shelter, or mental food and shelter, or emotional food and shelter, in addition to literal physical food and shelter, right? So that's where we're going today. Take some time to just appreciate all of this. I think it'll be very helpful and good for our discernment. Have an awesome day. See you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.